Trump had a long phone conversation with Vladimir Putin, apparently an hour and a half long, in which Putin gave him his marching orders. And Trump just, bent over and metaphorically, obviously it was a telephone call, kissed Putin's ass. In my opinion, this is treason. I mean, this is the betrayal of our democratic allies has officially begun. And Putin, this butcher, played Trump like a fiddle at a country fair. He even fed him his own words, common sense. Trump was bragging, oh yeah, Putin used my favorite phrase, common sense. Yeah, you think? The guy is an expert on psychological warfare. He used to run the Russian intelligence service in East Germany. Let's be clear. Russia invaded Ukraine, just like Hitler invaded Poland, just like Japan invaded China, and those led to millions of deaths, a world war, and eventually, to prevent a repeat, the creation of NATO. And now Trump and Hegseth are saying right out loud that they're going to give Putin, who's losing this war, by the way, and suffering massive casualties, and it's brought his economy to its knees. He's got like 17 or 18% inflation, hundreds of thousands of casualties. Putin wants out of this war, and Trump and Hegseth just said, okay, we'll give you everything you want, Vlad. Just keep those trolls on social media loving Republicans, and we'll give you what you want. It's amazing. No giving back to Ukraine the mineral-rich lands that Russia has stolen. No NATO or defense guarantees for Ukraine. This is particularly egregious since Russia has violated the Budapest Memorandum, which we've talked about before, the 1994 agreement that Bill Clinton negotiated that promised that if Ukraine gave up their nuclear weapons, they had the world's third largest stash of nukes, that if they gave up their nuclear weapons, then Russia would not invade. No punishment for Russia for invading a peaceful neighbor and murdering tens of thousands of innocent civilians. No retribution for Russia stealing over 100,000 Ukrainian children and trafficking them into Russia, the only country in the world where child porn is legal. No return of those children to their parents and their country. Trump telling the world that territorial acquisition by force is now again acceptable. Trump even blamed Ukraine for, quote, going to war as if this was all their fault. Trump spoke well of Putin, a murderous thug, and then quoted Putin's lie that Zelensky isn't polling well in his own country. Right, like Gallup is over there doing reasonable polls. Give me a break. Trump wouldn't even call Ukraine a partner with the U.S. in negotiations. This is going to be entirely between him and Putin. And then Trump says he's going to go to Russia or maybe Saudi Arabia to meet Putin in person so he can kiss his ass in person. This is treason, both against the United States and against democracies all across the world. It's a complete repudiation of the world order established after World War II that was specifically designed to end the kinds of territorial seizure that could lead to another world war. I mean, Trump actually said yesterday, quote, Russia fought for that land in Ukraine and lost a lot of men doing it, so they should just keep it. And our defense secretary backed him up. When aggressive countries invade and steal territory, that's just fine, Trump says. No penalty. Keep what you got, no matter how many people you have to kill to get it. After all, Ted Cruz led a Senate inquiry yesterday into how America might seize Greenland. Honest to God, not a word about helping Ukraine, of course. Seizing Greenland, possibly by force. Trump is trying to turn us into Russia. This is the kind of insanity that leads to another world war or the destruction of the United States of America. Is that his goal? Is Putin running America now? Is he the one who told Elon Musk to destroy our federal government the same way he told him not to let Starlink help Ukraine attack the Russian fleet in Crimea? This now power-drunk Trump is saying that he wants to do in Greenland, Canada, and Mexico what Putin did to Ukraine. This is a treacherous betrayal of American ideals, American history, and of every person who has ever served or loved this country. It's worse than what Neville Chamberlain did when he cut a deal with Hitler, because we can all see where this is going today, while Chamberlain couldn't. It's approaching what Vidkun Quisling did in Norway and Pétain did in Vichy, France. It's spitting in the face of our founders and the million-plus American soldiers who fought and died in multiple wars to establish and preserve democracy here in Asia and in Europe. No other American president or defense secretary would have ever said such a thing, would have ever betrayed an ally, because we've never had a traitor as a president before. There's no other way to describe it. You know, I get it. The most common technical definition of treason requires, you know, support for an enemy during time of war. But war is when a country is under assault. What Trump and Musk are doing against America right now can only legitimately be called warfare. People are dying right now because USAID was shut down. The toll could be in the millions. Parents are watching their children die as you are listening to me right now. Human beings grieving, sobbing, vowing revenge. And if it's not legally treason, it sure as hell is morally treason. Russia and China are delighting. Two countries have already declared their intention to shift their loyalty from America to China because of the loss of USAID. More are going to follow. Trump is literally handing other countries to China and to Russia. And this after our NATO allies gave their soldiers lives to fight alongside us in Afghanistan and Iraq after Bush and Cheney lied us into those wars. And what does Trump say to those European allies? Screw off. Now, France, Germany, Poland, Italy, Spain, and the UK just yesterday, in part in response to this, signed a joint statement vowing to protect Ukraine's sovereignty and demanding a role in the peace talks. Olaf Scholz, the German chancellor, said, quote, "The next task is to ensure that there is no dictated peace." John Healey, the UK Secretary of Defense, said, "There can be no negotiation about Ukraine without Ukraine." Trump, though, says, we're not going to join him in defending Ukraine. He wants Putin to dictate the fate of Ukraine. This is just treason. And where are the Democrats right now? Am I the only one in America saying this out loud? I mean, can you imagine how Republicans would react if Joe Biden had done the same or held a press conference with George Soros in the Oval Office doing all the talking? He'd be impeached in a week. It'd be on the nonstop news every hour for days. What the hell is going on here? Isn't it obvious? And now we hear the Democrats in leadership are upset because voters are calling them and loudly demanding that they stand up to Trump, Musk, and Putin. And the Kash Patel is organizing or orchestrating a plan to gut the FBI. The FBI, the one agency charged with finding Russian spies in America, Kash Patel wants to gut that even before he's put in charge? I'm at a complete loss for words. I've never before seen such a horror in my life, and I frankly never expected to see it here. Or that our media would pretend it's normal, and that reporters in the Oval Office wouldn't even try to ask tough questions for fear of being expelled. If America doesn't react soon and strongly, this is the death of our 240-year experiment, the death of freedom, the death of democracy, for most likely a generation, and maybe even the start of a third world war. Raise some hell. They haven't finished yet. There may still be some time. I'll be right back. 16 minutes past the hour. Stay with me.